what up? All right, we're going to be trying to make this guy render faster. I'm trying to zoom in right now. Look at it. Oh God, it's so slow. This is a 371 LEE matrix. Renders very, very slowly in TS Circuit. So we're going to try to improve that. Who knows? Who knows what antics we'll get up to along the way. I had a little bit of a stream thing here. I guess we're gonna do this guy. Whoops. Gonna do this one. And then maybe we'll do the other ones if we have to. In our pursuit of optimization. Sometimes it's good to know how long things take and have logging events for the sake of optimization. If you have any PRs or anything like that, I'm gonna have the Discord open on my other screen. So feel free to post some stuff. Otherwise, let's just get into it. Let's get started. Yeah. All right. So last time I talked about potentially using Pixie.js as our underlying render layer here. Because this thing is like super optimized for, let's see if we can find, let's do this. Fish pond. This thing is super optimized for displaying things quickly. So that's a pretty good option. There are a lot of different rendering techniques we can use. The schematic view almost has as many elements, but is faring much better. You can see there's a little bit of lag on the zoom, but this guy also has this debug grid, so it has even more elements, and it's actually faring, pretty well. Also, I don't know what's going on with the height of this thing not being my full screen. That's something else to address. But yeah, that's pretty decent, all things considered. I don't know. I think this one just uses CSS transforms, so I'm even maybe a little surprised that it's slow. Yeah, maybe we can see if ChatGPT knows when doing. Yo, Absi, what up? Welcome. When doing CSS transforms on an SVG with zooming and panning, I noticed for large SVGs the page slows down. How can I optimize it? This one should be fairly easy to optimize. The PCB viewer could also use this exact same technique where it renders to an SVG first. Shibo, what up? Welcome. Good to see you. So let's see what it says. The other thing I was thinking is I'm really missing that file menu that has the download circuit.json, because I would already be writing Pixie or playing with this optimization, but I actually don't have a way to extract the circuit.json from this page, since we now do browser rendering on the CLI, and this is within the CLI, which is kind of working now. Okay, optimizing, blah, blah, blah. Reduce elements, useless. For background elements that don't need interactivity, convert them to raster images. If we convert to raster images, you won't be able to drag and drop. So currently you can come in here, hit edit, and you can actually drag and drop these. That's going to take a while to re-render. Will change. No way. What is this? What is the will change CSS property? Hints to browsers how an element is expected to change. Does it? Is that real? Does Will, yo, woo foo, what up? Welcome. Does will change actually do anything? Let's go to Reddit. Let's go to the source. Okay, we don't care about free will. Or we care about free will, but can we control that we care? Yo, what up, bro? Heat, welcome. Welcome. Good to see you. Does will change CSS actually do anything? It does. No, it's redundant for CSS animations. Oh. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, as soon as you start to do a transform, it optimizes. I know. Well, I mean, we could try it, but I know about this because they look pretty good now when you transform. They actually look crazy good. But back in the day, when you were transforming an element, it would start to get blurry. So, but that doesn't happen anymore. Okay. So, well, there's so many of these. Learning CSS today. Yeah, some obscure CSS. Wow. That matrix is so big. Okay, leverage view box and preserve aspect ratio. This is often more efficient because the browser can focus only on the visible portion. Yeah, we don't use request animation frame. GPU acceleration. Oh, interesting. Force the browser to use GPU by doing a translate. I bet this will make it blurry. We should be able to test this live. So if I go to the page body, hopefully I can dig down until I find this SVG. Okay, here's the SVG, and we're going to try adding perspective to it and see if that makes it less laggy. We also have to figure out where the transform is actually applied, because I don't know if it's applied directly to the SVG. It is. Okay. So, oh, you know what? This is going to be rewritten a lot. Let's do something a little bit crazier. Let's go to the body, and we will add an element, and we're going to manually create a... Also, sorry for the small fonts. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see if we can add an element, a style tag. Is there an easier way to do this? Style. Oh, it's down here. Element style. No, I need to create some custom CSS. We need to make some custom CSS to get this to work. So I have to create an element. Why is it so hard to create an element? Is there not a button? Woofu, can you help me with a project which is a Chrome extension? You know who can help you? ChatGPT. ChatGPT will work with you endlessly. It is a caring friend. It is a loving, caring friend. Not to be mean. I think, maybe I would try going on the TS Circuit Discord and then posting in the off topic and seeing if you can bait one of our many, many smart developers into helping you. And there is a possibility of that. Or maybe we can make a help wanted channel or something like that. All right, what property did we need to add here? Translate 3D, or we could add perspective 1 pixel. Let's do that. Perspective 1 pixel. And then I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully it kept my style tag. You know, this page might get re-rendered too much, so we might have to be fancier. I think we have to be fancier. Wow, look at that. That's so laggy. ChatGPT is so dumb. Okay. Okay, buddy. Yo, Ansh, what up? Welcome. Welcome. Error consoling adding up. Is there a lot of errors in the console? Oh, wow. I don't think that's causing this performance issue, but Oh, this is because I'm not running the CLI. This has just been happening to every like 5 seconds since last night or something. So it's not happening frequently enough to cause an issue. It almost sometimes I really feel like it's only zooming that's laggy. This is fine. Zooming is not fine. So I don't know. Oh, and we crashed it. Cool. All right, let's keep reading through some suggestions. This one we can definitely try. I think I might try this. Discord link, please go to tscircuit.com and click Discord at the top. Limit CSS shadows. Okay, well, we don't use shadows. Switch to canvas. I don't know. I don't really like any of these. They add too much complexity. The goal isn't to just make it faster. That would be a huge mistake to go, oh, we got to make it faster. How can we make it faster? The goal is to because we're not even through 10% of all the features we need. The goal is to make it faster without compromising the optimization is often very dangerous because you compromise the quality of your code, the speed of development, etc. So we want to be able to maintain those things while also staying very fast. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. Example. So what I'm going to do, there's an index file. I'm just going to give this GPU acceleration thing a shot. So we're going to add this style tag here. So we're just going to say, I think it was SVG perspective 1px. So theoretically that triggers the thing or whatever, the web GPU. Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to just straight up load an SVG into like a web GPU optimized renderer. Like even Pixie.js SVG, it has a way to load in SVGs. So actually this might be our best bet. One thing about Pixie is maybe it wants to handle, yeah, it's just loading an SVG, but you can see, or it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see the pixels. So it's rasterizing it to an image. So that's kind of dangerous. We don't want to rasterize to an image unnecessarily, because we know that's going to be fast. We know that moving around a single image is fast. That's not the issue, right? Also, the interactivity is going to completely change if we port to Pixie. It's going to be a lot harder to make it work. Still feasible though. Okay. Let's see, web GPU optimized SVG rendering. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so the other issue is, unfortunately with the CLI, let's see, we have an example directory. Let's just number the snippet. So let's call it snippet 1 -basic. And then I will put in the snippet 2 large LED matrix. And we'll paste in our LED matrix here, which I gotta figure out where that is. So recently the TSCI command line utility started working again. So I was using that to develop it. You can also clone using it. So it's pretty cool. But we're gonna, because we want to do the development inside of the actual CLI project, I'm going to just copy the file there. Okay. It's not going to load these types properly. So somebody, I think it was Shibo. Hey, for the trace hover and PCB viewer, I will make it work only for traces with a max length and checks. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we don't want to show those trace lengths too much. Yeah, I'm also really worried about that kind of stuff because where the LED matrix I'm working on now has 3,000 traces. And so I don't know what's going to break. So it's generally better to do less. I also don't have or don't know of a way to check how much time each React component takes to render. So we might need some benchmarking. I don't think the React rendering is taking a while. I think it's the other stuff. I think it's like the transforms, the browser. I'm wondering if I can fix these types by copying over the types from my other project here. Let's see. Types.d.ts. Oh, I don't see any types here. I thought there were types, but I guess not. Okay. I guess we're just going to have to deal with not having types. So we'll do bun run CLI example dir / snippet to large LED matrix. Unknown command. Why is it saying that? Oh, right. Dev. Okay. All right. So theoretically, we're running with the web GPU acceleration. It's going to take a little while. The loading state for run frame is bad right now. I'll make an issue on run frame for that because it's just loading right now, but it shows no circuit JSON loaded. So, the registry isn't working. I tried to. Also, the registry doesn't work with bun due to a bun bug. So, yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy. The bugs are so endless, and it's like, yeah, we picked up a lot of scope. Like we're doing a lot. We could have said like we weren't going to do PCBs or we weren't going to do schematics, or whatever, or BOM. So like we picked up a lot of scope. Maybe more than we can chew, but I feel like it's incomplete if we don't have all that stuff. And yeah, the registry was maybe a bit too much scope. We implement an NPM registry, and unfortunately, what's happened is something's broke. I don't know what, but we need to fix that registry code so that you can do installation. And then Bun actually doesn't support NPM custom registries properly. So we have to build a mitigation for that if we want to use Bun until Bun fixes it. I've already filed an issue with Bun. So yeah, there's nothing I can do while Bun, especially while Bun has that bug, other than like completely rewrite our registry. They don't support base paths. So it's another easy issue for somebody who wants to get into Bun. Can you confirm the maintenance tracker is working? Looks good. I think your fix was good. 6.4. Now people are going to merge a bunch of bad code where the playwright tests fail and and you'll feel the pain of that, and then you'll be a good reviewer. So fixed loading state when circuit JSON, when render takes a while. Currently, it just displays this. I'm not bountying that because I have no idea what crazy design people are going to come up with. This one, this is the file menu bar I want. Yeah, I just don't like, I just want to be able to download the circuit.json. It'll just make life easier. So I might implement that. More features in slow development versus less features in faster development. I guess more features will attract more users and contributors, which might push the project faster overall. Yeah. You can also appeal to niche audiences as you start to get a little bit higher. It's actually, it's not true that you can't have a base feature set and then appeal to niche audiences. You need a base feature set, and then you can go build off in some random category like AI schematic review and make more headway. So yeah, you can see what works and doesn't earlier on. Yeah, you also have to know how hard a feature is to build. It's hard to pick the scope for a project, but I'm pretty happy. I think we could expand scope more, but we got to get a lot better at crushing bugs. Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah, you know, panning is fine with the schematic view. It's zooming that really sucks. So maybe what we do is we detect when you have too many elements, and we make it so that the zooming is like you almost have to press buttons or something. But right now it's tolerable. I don't know when it'll break completely, but it seems pretty tolerable. The other thing we could do is have an image version of the SVG for the zoom level. So basically when you're doing this, or you're zooming out, we use the image and then we re-rasterize. So we have a throttled rasterization. That's a pretty cool approach. When somebody's in edit mode, we would completely disable that. But that's a pretty cool approach. That's probably what the browser is already doing, and that's why this is kind of smooth. So I don't think you need it here. I do think you need it for the zoom out. I don't think the browser has the optimization for the zoom out. Can you tell people on Discord to not merge PRs until all the checks pass, please? It's a suggestion. Yeah, normally we disable that, but historically on snippets, they haven't been consistent. If the maintenance tracker gets to 95%, I'm definitely going to enforce that. But until then, it's tough to enforce it because I don't know how reliable it is, because it's not like it's rerunning. The maintenance tracker isn't actually, it doesn't actually tell you how reliable it is unless you have many, many days of data, because it doesn't rerun the checks. Unlike, for example, the status page, this reruns the checks every 10 minutes. So this one, you actually know it's reliable, but the maintenance tracker doesn't. When it's polling, it's just literally checking if the latest checks pass. So it's basically just the percentage of time that main has been shown as green. All right, we need to get this circuit JSON out. So we're going to hop over to run frame, and we're going to change that top bar to make it so that we have like a download circuit JSON button. I could also do a command line fix for this, but I don't know. Both approaches are fine. We could probably have both, but you could have a command line export, like TSCI export circuit JSON. Shit, now I kind of think I should do that. Maybe let's do the command line export. Especially because this has a better test suite. Oh, and obviously our GPU fix did nothing, so we can just remove that. Okay, so we'll create a new branch. I'm just going to work on circuit JSON export for a little while, so we'll just call it that. Maintenance tracker also checks every 10 minutes. No, it checks the status checks, but it doesn't run status check. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. Maintenance tracker does not rerun the tests. It checks if the tests are passing. It's whatever. I don't care. It's fine. So it has to get a lot higher. It has to get a lot higher. You have to know that it's been passing for 2 weeks, basically, which is how long the timeline is on maintenance tracker. If you wanted to prove the reliability faster, you would have to adjust it so that it actually ran checks, but that would actually be very expensive on our GitHub Actions bill. So I don't know if I like that. We might run them hourly, but we wouldn't run them every 10 minutes. It's very expensive. It'd be like $50 a month. I'm not going to pay $50 a month for people to just to know if our playwright tests are consistent. That's too much. It wouldn't be at some point, but so I think the command we want here is export. So we're going to make export/register. This is the convention I'm using in the new CLI. You have all these directories with the command, and then you have register, which is where you register the command, and then you can have other files that help you, do whatever you want to do. Let's copy out a really simple command here. This is using Commander. So, I guess export might actually be a suite. There's probably going to be an export command standalone. Oh, I don't even know if you can do this with Commander. In Commander.js, can I have the following command structure? I'll just give it examples. It's easier to explain it. So CLI, I'll say my program, export path to file.ts or whatever, path to file, my program. Oh, you know what? It could be flags. So format circuit.json. That's pretty solid. We don't need subcommands for that. Okay, yeah. We'll just have one command. I was going to do like subcommands like export circuit.json, but no, it's way better as an option. Okay, so that's for subcommands, so we don't need that. Command export TS circuit code to various formats. And I don't even need to accept command does not exist on read only. Command program. Am I going crazy? Oh, command export. So what should I do if any failed check PR gets merged? Then just fix it. Yeah. And maybe yell at the person. Yeah. Until we're at 95, I can't mandate it because, who knows what the issue is. Maybe a little bit sooner. Maybe if we get to 50. I click on that in people's PRs too. Like, people should just do it, because if they break the test suite, then they still broke the test suite. It's still somebody's fault, right? All right, so let's say create an option format with a default of circuit.json, but allow options JSON, circuit.json, same thing, same difference. What else do we export to? I guess like schematic, SVG, PCB SVG, Gerbers. I'm trying to remember the export menu from the old CLI. Maybe it's a bit tricky you have given me, as I've been never able to do that validation. I know it's not for $20. I do 2 bounties, I will get its validation. It's the look, if it was above 20, I wouldn't be able to create more maintenance tasks. And ideally people can accumulate maintenance tasks, but it is low. Look, man, I mean, this isn't I would love if people could do TS Circuit as a full-time job, but I can't pay everybody to be full-time. So it's just like, it's more of a tip. It's not, you know. You can also opt out. You can just be like, I don't want it. You know. No matter what, it's going to happen. So it's just who gets to claim it. What other formats do we have? I'm really Oh, we have the readable net list. It's a really good format for AI. What else do we have? Oh, the 3D model format is kind of new. That's pretty sweet. I think somebody worked on, I think it was Anch actually. Didn't he work on exporting? It's a really hard PR. It's a good one. Add type declaration. Oh, from Old Bear. Old Bear coming out of left field. All right, Old Bear. Old Bear is an OP username. I just trust him because of the username. Oh. Technically, that import, I think it should be able to derive the import from a JSON file. But it's fine. The code doesn't look formatted, but it actually is formatted too, which is kind of funny, but it doesn't look formatted. This is a really hacky definition in some ways. Like it should really be something like this, probably. Yeah. It'll cause problems, but it's fine. Let's try it. Manual edits is a really weird file. It has some special properties, and that's why it's injected. This file is special because this file has slightly special handling. So Old Bear is kind of correct for the injection. Yeah, we handle it even if it's not defined. Is this how you do PRs, winging it? Did I wing it? Was I winging it? GLTF is the 3D format we export to. I had to look it up. Oh, what else do we have? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my train of thought here. Okay, if I go to a circuit and I hit download, I should be able to see what formats we support. Where is it? Download. It's not letting me download because I haven't run it yet. All right, download. What do we have? We have footprints. Does that work? STL, that doesn't work. We have DSN. That's pretty funny. We could do DSN. What would you call this approach? What of like for is this not supported? Choices does not exist. Uh-oh. I don't know. Commander might not be that smart. I don't think Commander is that smart. I don't think it supports this. That's disappointing. I should probably stop using Commander. allowed formats. Read the 2 lines above. 2 lines above. I probably missed it. I have added KiCad project to download. Nice. Supported formats. So we're just going to tell them all the allowed formats there. All right. Never mind, joke's gone past. Sorry. The curse of live streaming on that one. All right, first we're going to check out, somebody did this 3D export command. Let's see if you got this right. That's all good. This is Anch. Oh, this is still bad. This is too old. I'm surprised this didn't stale out. But this approach is totally wrong. You're not even close. No offense. I'm closing it so it doesn't distract me in my pull requests. This one is too old. Sorry. Wait, did you say you had a PR Anch? I'm not seeing anything. You read newest comments first. I guess I do. Sort by newest. What should I be searching by? Newest comments first. I think newest comments first is probably the best of available options. You trusted the code based on their name. I did. Old Bear 26, that's a good name. You want to get your PRs in? Get a username I can trust. Don't have it be too fun. Old Bear sounds like a friggin' graybeard. He is a graybeard. He or she. Definitely, if I had to guess, this profile is some graybeard who's playing with TS Circuit, was like, what the F is this issue? Got annoyed. Oh, stream comments and how I read stream comments? Yeah. I do read stream comments quite poorly. Imposter Engineer, I think mine speaks volumes. You know, yours is a pretty good username. It is a pretty good username. No numbers either. It's impressive. All right, so for this export command, a little bit tricky. What we have to do is we need to render the snippet file. In order to render the snippet file, we need to, just thinking this through, we need to load all the files into memory that it needs into a virtual file system, which is just an object. Yeah, but your Anch, that 3D one is not, you're going to have to learn more about React to do it. I might do that one because it's cool. You know what? F it. Let's, this is kind of hard. I don't want to get too distracted though. Yeah, you know what? F it. Let's do the 3D one because it's a really good one. This requires a React technique that probably not too many people are familiar with. I'll show you. You can kind of guess what it is from my comment on the PR. So I just closed it. Or these, is it only displaying merged? Is closed. GLTF. Is this another case of like really bad PR names where I can't find it? Because the name was so bad. GLTF. Did you not have GLTF in the close? Oh, there it is. There it is. I don't know why I couldn't find it. All right. So my comment on this was, oh, actually, I didn't leave a good comment. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. This would have been a hard one to get. This would have been a hard one to get if I didn't give you a hint. Maybe I explained it on stream. I don't remember. Anyway, we have to use a technique where we kind of like want to say, we want to call a hook. We want to like call a hook outside of where you're allowed to call hooks is basically the gist of it. Because and the reason it has to be a hook is because it has to access some of the content. So if we look at, wow, this is a $5 bounty. I think it's a $5 bounty because I knew it had a lot of risk, so I didn't want anybody to spend too much time on it. So bounties are mostly expected value. Anyway, really great PR from this guy, new contributor. But you basically have this hook, use export GLTF URL. Let's look at how this works. Use GLTF. Use export GLTF URL. Oh, this might actually be kind of bad. Hold on. So he forwards a ref of the root 3D object. So you get access to the currently rendered 3D thing, and then you throw it into a GLTF exporter. Yeah, and then okay, this is fine, I think. And then he uses a function. I want to make sure he's not creating that GLTF on every render. I think he's not, but it's kind of unclear. URL. Yeah, you have to... Actually, it's kind of unclear. Use export GLTF URL. Oh, yeah, he is exporting every... Use save, but he introduced a couple functions here. Use save GLTF as, save as. Okay, this one doesn't render at every frame, so this one is better. This is the function you want to use. Use save GLTF as, or something to this effect. The person who made the GLTF export functionality in 3D Viewer has to make a convert circuit.json to GLTF function, but hasn't yet. No, I don't think that's it, Ansh. That's not quite it. Anyway, you could have a convert circuit.json to GLTF function, but that would be dependent on the 3D Viewer. It's like you would. It's like complicated. Yeah. I'm actually surprised this doesn't break anything, now that I look at the code a little more deeply. Let's see. Is anything broken? Nothing seems broken. Although 3D components aren't loading. Let me see. So this was version 86. Is this the current version that's live? Are 3D components working? That one doesn't have a 3D component. Let's see. Let's do our LED button or our flashlight. Yeah, 3D components are working. So I don't think they broke 3D. Because it's weird. They put everything inside of an object 3D. Yo, what up, Reminder? Of course, there's no version number in here. 3D Viewer 8.6. It's the latest version, right? Yeah, 8.6. Okay, yeah, they didn't break anything. So basically, they get they have a ref that moves around, and it throws around this this object. This is all inside of a Three.js object. When you have access to that Three.js object, you can export it, but you have to have access to that object. So let's see if we can get access to that object somehow. He basically exports this hook. Maybe this is included in the library now. Probably should be. Use save gltf. Wow, is gltf just JSON? I think gltf is... What is the gltf binary, gltf plus JSON. Okay, so it's got two types. Interesting. Yeah, so to the CAD viewer, you pass a ref. And that's how you can... Actually, I probably would have renamed this. So this is a reference to the Three.js object, I think. Yeah. So it's a little weird how it was implemented. Also, this is weird. Forward ref. Oh, that's how forward ref works, though. Okay. Okay. I don't know if anybody followed that, but I said this was going to be complicated. So we have to track this ref. So if you go to CAD viewer, wherever it's rendered, I guess the preview content is probably most important here. The problem is the hook can be used inside a function, so we have to use ZUST_store. Yeah, that's like one of the... That's an approach. You actually don't need to use the ZUST_store. You just need global state. But we usually like to do... Or you don't even need global state. You just need to get this ref passed around properly. So we're going to say... I think I have to install the latest version or else my types won't work here. But am I all up to date? Okay, cool. I'm up to date. Okay, so we have a CAD viewer, and what we're going to do is say 3JS object ref. And then we're going to... So now we have this reference to the Three.js object. Unfortunately, the functions he wrote for this PR, this one really didn't have to be a hook. I guess it's okay that it's a hook, but, or maybe it's this one. This one, I guess I get it. He doesn't want to initialize a gltf exporter every frame. But essentially all you need is this kind of function here. I think what I'm going to do is this implementation in two parts. So first part, I'll just get it to work, hacky, and then we'll come back and we'll improve it after. So anyway, Three.js object ref should really be done in run frame, since all this code is being removed. But anyway, Three.js object ref. That's being populated. There's a couple things we could do now. One thing we could do is literally just set it on the ZUST_store. So we could say... let's improve the casing there. set 3js object ref equals use global. I don't even know if I like this though, because you don't really. Let's see how lazy we can get. We can just set it on the window object for now. And the reason I like this more is because there's not really a need to get Zustand involved, because it's kind of out of the React lifecycle, at least the way it's currently implemented. It's not like the best, but we can just do this. So now that 3JS object store is on the global window object. I don't know where download is implemented, unfortunately. Let's see. I think it's in a editor nav header, something like that. That it was saying in, okay, yeah. Download menu and button. Sounds good to me. Yeah, so you could use the hook. You could use a hook right here if you wanted to. And then you would pass in things from your hook here. So it's not that tricky. Like, so you could put the Zustand object ref on the hook, but just the way that refs work, they kind of work outside of React lifecycle. So I'm going to be a little bit lazy with this implementation, but that would be a good way to do it. Download circuit JSON, download 3D model. So we'll create a new download gltf.ts, paste in some content, rename. It's actually two types of gltf, I guess, but I guess we'll just go with the binary format for now. And then this is the main function we need to port. Run the snippet before downloading the 3D model. And that error isn't gonna, that error is not gonna get picked up very well, unfortunately. So we gotta put in some error handling here. Can I do toast.promise maybe? I'll have to figure out a way to put that inside of a try catch. And give it a toast. That might be okay for now. We can be hacky. We'll fix it in a minute. Okay, that's not gonna work. That's not how gltf is exported. So what I'm going to do, I don't think that's how, yeah. We could improve our type definition on the 3JS object too, but I'll be lazy. So gltf exporter from 3stdlib, we should get that just by virtue of having the 3D viewer, because it's a dependency of the 3D viewer. Yeah, we need async for this. Options.binary is name ends with GLB. So GLB, I guess, is the binary format. So by default, it's going to be JSON. Oh, struggling to read this slightly. Use parser. This is the parse function. Okay. I've never seen this with resolvers. That's a pretty cool function, though. With resolvers. Wow, I've never seen that. Promise.with resolvers. I think I've implemented this before without knowing it existed. Yeah, wow, huh. Damn, that's awesome. This is a great pattern. That's why it's nice to work with people. Sometimes they bring in patterns never would have thought about. It's a great pattern. Okay, so this is the code we have in the other one. We're going to say type is just GLTF plus JSON. Oh, it's hard to understand what's going on here. Type JSON stringify GLTF. Exporter parse. I don't know. It's a little confusing to me because it seems like I don't get if options.binary. Okay, I think I understand. This options object I need to create. Is that the only option? Holy. Yeah, it looks like it's an empty object by default, so we'll say binary is false. Okay. Resolve GLTF. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's how you use this promise with resolvers pattern. Really awesome pattern. You also need to pull out the promise itself. Promise GLTF promise, yeah. So basically, it's kind of hard to read, but after this resolution, this code will then continue. So you kind of track two things. No, it's implemented okay in that PR. I don't know. You want a function called convert circuit JSON to GLTF, but it's not possible in this context. It's not like our other converters. We actually have to use a Three.js object. And the exporter that's a single function would be too large because it would have to literally contain a web browser. So so it's a different case. He doesn't have the option of doing this very simple, clean implementation. It's not an option that's available. You have to parse stuff around. I think this is the result of the promise here. But it returns he's returning a URL instead of a blob. So we're going to return the blob. This ended up being a little bit more about GLTF than React hackery. Basically, just passing a ref around is the main React hackery we had to do. That should do it. Okay. All right. That'll do something in theory. If you're doing this yourself. Yeah, because that's not how the bounties work. The bounties are like, they don't work like... Look, I'm working with a limited system here, but I don't just set a bounty based on how hard something is. And the reason I don't do that is because then more people try it and waste my time. So I set a bounty on expected value, right? Because otherwise I'm going to spend all this time reviewing it and helping people out, and I'll basically be doing the issue myself. So it's worth less. So it's about the expected value of the project itself, right? I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but like, I wish it wasn't like that, but that's just the way it is. If I could price on difficulty, I would, but every time you have something like this, people are wasting time. All right, we got a lot of errors here, but I don't know which ones are related to the GLTF. Okay, range error maximum call stack exceeded. Read as data URL. Download TT. Oh wow, I think it's happening inside of the exporter. Possibly because we are giving it a bad 3JS object, so we can log out the 3JS object. Looks okay. Object 3D is Object 3D. I'm trying to narrow down where it's breaking. If it's really inside of the exporter, it almost feels like an exporter bug if it's that deep inside. But we know it works from the 3D viewer PR, at least the general technique. Maximum call stack exceeded. Test ChatGPT. Maximum call stack exceeded. That usually happens when you have a recursive function. But I can't think of how this would be recursive. It's possible the 3JS object maybe contains some kind of weird loop. So I could try to look for some kind of loop. Simplify the circuit or something. But it's a pretty simple circuit. There's not a lot of opportunity for weird loopage. So this is the code for the component there. It's like the simplest possible code I can imagine. Yeah, I don't know. It says ChatGPT. Maybe it'll give us some ideas. I'm going to give it a screenshot of the error. But the board is so good, so I thought don't push it. I made something. The 3D view is looking bad after downloading, like the resistor and capacitors are all flat things. But the board is good, so I thought don't push that. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know how that would happen. No, it's not a lot of data. Circular references. Oh, it could be in the JSON stringify. Huh. File saver reading as data URL. No, we're not getting that far. We could try that. Exploring as binary. Oh, that works. It's a bad file, though. It's a bad file format. But I thought we never got to this GLTF point. So there's not really an opportunity. I don't know. Okay, so GLTF viewer online. Maybe we'll get to reproduce Ansh's bug here. This isn't really a GLTF file, but it works. Nice. The lighting is weird, but you just have to adjust the lighting. I also don't like how it's like not in the right orientation, but you know. That has to do with we actually manipulate the Three.js scene. I don't know. I guess somebody could argue this is the right orientation, but I wouldn't. I'm going to call it there. That's close enough for now. So the 3D viewer should really export a lot of these functions, but I'm glad I tested it in this module. It's a little easier to kind of pick apart. Yeah, so let's remove our console logs, and we'll call that it for the future for now. So because we have GLTF export, we can actually add stuff to the home page. So after this is merged, I'll go export some cool looking circuits, and we can actually put it on the landing page. Because it won't. If we did it in any other way, it would load in too much stuff, and it would be too heavy for a landing page. So add support for downloading GLTF. Kind of got lucky that the binary fixed whatever that issue was, because I have no idea what that problem was. All right. That's going to be testing. So let's go back to this export and format thing. I think the easiest way to do this is to export to get the circuit JSON inside of a web worker, which is always kind of step one. Yeah, we had a lot of different techniques for this in the old module, but we basically have a fairly consistent technique with this web worker now. It doesn't really make sense to use a web worker in this context, but the web worker is like a nice isolated, I don't know, thing. So that's why we use it. Excuse me. We don't need to provide any of these options. I don't know why they're even required. So we're going to create the circuit web worker. That takes a little bit of time because it has to load from an external URL. It's very hacky. All the TS circuit code to execute. And then we have this execute with fsmap. Fsmap is essentially a virtual file system. So we'll have to construct a virtual file system here. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do that very quickly. I think there's a module called make VFS that we can use. Let's see what this guy's got for us. Get matching, get virtual file system from DirPath. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, add a path argument for the snippet path to export. I think I am touch close to this implementation if you believe me. I do not believe you. I'm a touch close. I think that was a pretty tricky implementation. I don't know. The devil's in the details on this one. Ooh, failing type check. Oh yeah, we forgot to rewrite this alert. So we want to do a toast. Yeah, something like that. You commented SS in the PCB viewer, hover over tracers on. Can you tell me a little bit? I want to create an issue. You commented SS something. An issue for what to do next? Hover over a trace. You can tell me a little bit about it. Oh, do you mean in... I don't think it was for trace hovering. Are you talking about like I wanted like better looking little badges to indicate ports? Please don't break tests. Yeah, that's I will not break the tests unless somebody else broke them. I check my tests. Eventually everyone will check their tests when they pass consistently. There's a really easy way to make sure playwright tests always pass, but I've never seen anyone implement it. But there is a foolproof way to make sure nobody merges a flaky test. Is foolproof, and I have no idea. You could build a whole startup on this strategy. It's a foolproof way. What you do is whenever a new test is introduced or a test is modified, you run that test 1,000 times. And then you make sure that it passes 99% of the time or 99.9, depending on your org. You're going to need high levels of probability. So you run it like 1,000 times. And that's how you check that the test is flaky. Maybe you run it on different machine conditions, whatever, but you run it 1,000 times every time a test changes or is introduced. After that, you can just run it once. But the first time, you run it 99. You make sure it's 99.9%. Because the problem is people introducing tests will rerun their tests. They'll introduce a flaky test, and then everybody has to deal with that flaky test forever. So very simple solution. I've never seen it implemented. But that's it. That's the fix. Technically, that doesn't guard against like a config change, so or a global change. So somebody does something like they change all the request timeouts, and so tests that weren't previously flaky now become flaky. But I guarantee that fixes 99% of issues, just making it so that it's very difficult to introduce a flaky test. That'll solve most problems. Nobody's ever done it. Playwright doesn't have a utility for it, but that's it. Okay, so now we throw a toast. Absy says, screenshot. I am just starting my journey with my first programming language, Python, and this stuff looks so insanely complicated to me, but I can't wait to be able to do something like this. AI makes it a lot easier. Stick with it. Use AI. You'll get there. Whatever there is for you. Should contribute to TS circuit. I feel like people have learned contributing to TS circuit. Do you guys think that's true? Do you guys feel like you've gotten some good takeaways? Maybe learned a pattern or two? Maybe got yelled at on stream a little? Are we good? We're good. We'll check on that PR in a little while. I'm doing 2 PRs at once, so I know that's confusing. What parameters does this take? I feel like I'm half awake right now. All right, so we got an entry point. We have to do a couple things to make this work. So first we have to get the project directory. So project.dir is going to be equal to the dir name of the file you pass in, which we're going to get here. Are you using Three.js? Yes, we are. We just did a ton of work in Three.js to get our little rendering working. I love Three.js. If you don't know, Three.js was made by Mr. Doob. All right, we're passing except for our playwright test. All right, FSMap, project.dir, whatever. Virtual file system is a concept that AI knows very well, but most humans do not. But virtual file system, basically just an object that represents a directory. I'm just checking the file format here. I think that's fine. FSMap, the expected type comes from, what is the expected type? Record, string. Is this not a string? Oh, it can be a buffer, blah, blah, blah. All right. So this has options. Let's see. Dir path, project.dir, string as our format. Should work. I got both takeaways. Also got interesting bounties. Anj says, I learned a thing or two. So we'll wait for this worker to finish executing, and then we'll do render until settled. And then we'll get the circuit JSON. And then we'll log it. Whoa, sorry for all the yawning. It's very early for me. All right, we're passing. Look, Ansh, I didn't break your playwright tests. Yeah, if you ever are writing a playwright test and you have to run it a couple times before merging, you are doing... and you merge it and you pretend it just passed its first time, you are doing the worst form of sabotage beyond actual militia. Like, not beyond, but the only thing not worse than malicious sabotage, because you're going to break everybody's playwright test and make it flaky for everyone. If I wanted to slow down an open source project, that is exactly what I would do. I would go in, write flaky tests, just keep running until they do whatever. I would go into old tests and make them flakier. It's the worst thing you can do. I'm not saying anybody did that, but it happens accidentally a lot. A lot of people do it innocently. They're just rerunning their tests. What's the big deal? But it's terrible, terrible. So we should be able to export 3D components soon. And we should be able to run our export command now. It says unknown command export, so I probably have to register it. Register export. Invalid format undefined, so we have to add. I guess the default isn't added automatically. I don't know. Commander is a very dated program, but I like it. AI knows it very well. So we're going to format equals circuit.json. Module not found, resolving the web worker. Does that really not resolve? That's crazy. Maybe, no, it does resolve. I don't know, maybe a security issue. I'm not really sure. But we can provide the web worker bundle URL manually. I should really improve this. Blob URL. Oh my gosh, autocomplete saved me. There we go. Autocomplete in AI fought and nobody won. Yeah, this is pretty annoying. I need to create a module like render snippet that just takes care of all this setup automatically. Path.dirname, the path property must be of type string. Okay, not able to guess root component. So we probably need to add an entry point. Yeah, I really need to just have a run TS circuit module. The entry points are really simple. Yeah, it's just this. Import circuit from, and then we have to import, yeah, that. And that's not an entry point path. I guess that's the relative component path. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Entry point is like your main.ts file invite. It doesn't like run React. It just sets it up. Not able to guess root component, so I must have messed something up. Oh, yeah, this isn't right. Oh, yeah, none of this is right. Let's find out where we actually put in an entry point. Add entry point. There we go. That's a real entry point right there. Yeah, there we go. Today, I've tried to make a feature on snippets, like when we trace automatically, autocomplete, not that much more efficient than the Git. Yeah, it's basically the GitHub Copilot one. Yeah. I think it's better than nothing, right? Okay, we can see the export is working. I also noticed that it hung, so we're just going to do process.exit to make our lives easy. Maybe I will try some other day. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. That's why I want to use local a local CLI so that I can use Cursor. Yeah, because it's hard to get web. It's hard to compete with Cursor with a web IDE right now. There was a guy, the creator of Valtown, which is an online TypeScript playground. He just ranted about this on Hacker News. He's like, we try to keep up, but it's really, really hard. You know, it's like an existential challenge for his business. Luckily for us, it's not an existential challenge. Snippets is just like an easy way for us to share code. It's not like I don't expect anybody to use it for a big project. I mean, people could. If you wanted to prioritize shareability, you could. And I'm using it for everything right now, just to drink my own Kool-Aid. Okay, we need to write this out to a file. Except in a -o output path option. This is why I use Cursor for this command K. All right, so now we have our output. We need to give a default value for output that makes sense. So I'm going to use let. And then... Actually, it's going to be annoying about this, isn't it? So let's do this. We'll say... if not output. Yeah, perfect. Okay, output extension. So JSON, we're going to do .circuit.json. Okay. Just kind of make those file formats pretty nice. What is it trying to do here? Output extensions, formats. Yeah, okay. Okay. What are you complaining about? Has any type because it can't be used to index. So we'll dumbify this type a little bit. Maybe instead of making this dumb, we can do this. We'll say as const for the allowed formats. Yeah. And then we'll pull out this format thing, and then we can say format as format. Okay, let's see. Can we get this guy to work? So yeah, output to the snippet. Then I'm going to do -o. Actually, I'm not going to do -o. Let's see what happens. Nothing to connect this port to. Okay, so we got some warnings, but did we get the JSON file? We should have a big JSON file now. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Okay, that's working. So what that's going to do, the whole reason we did this is so that we can get this big board I keep looking at into JSON so that we can import it into a different project to test the rendering speed because the zoom is so slow. So we're getting closer and closer to the objective. I know it's crazy how much stuff there is to build. I'm like, how is it possible that I'm still building up stuff just to be able to test this? But everything broke when it got that big. So normally I could just export from the web app. Maybe I still could if I got it to render once, and it does render about once. So maybe I could, but we're just gradually building out each piece of infrastructure. Yeah, I really want to put most of this worker code into a dedicated module called render snippet, or like maybe render snippet that just kind of handles it. But I'll create a placeholder repo for it. The problem with having these kind of small function repos, maybe I wonder if people get confused with the word render. Convert a TS circuit snippet into circuit JSON with automatic importing. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we'll take a look at that in a bit. Let's try rendering out. I don't know. This is a good feature. So circuit JSON export support. We'll stop. We'll pause here. We'll do a PR at this point. I like small PRs. Yeah. All right. Cool. Oh, it's so bad. It's not even rendering traces yet. Oh, another cool thing we can do is, for some reason, this board doesn't fully route. I don't think I've ever seen this fully routed with our Cloud Auto Router. I think it's because the payload is too big. It's like many megabytes. Probably too many. We can actually check. If we render this out, we can actually check the size of the payload now. So let's do it. So export snippet to large LED matrix. This is going to take forever to render. Oh, we can also do benchmarking. Oh, that's pretty cool. This enables us to do benchmarking. Hadn't thought of that. I wonder if I can somehow hook this up to Core to benchmark how long it takes to run snippets. Today I tried to make a back out very hard of capacitor 1. I don't know what you're talking about, Ansh. You're gonna have to break that down for me. Something that's kind of cool that I just got. This was essentially donated to TS Circuit. I still need to reach out to him and thank him and whatnot. But we got an Analog Discovery 3 board. So this is a $400 board. This is the case it comes in. Analog Discovery 3. This is a $400 board. and it's essentially like a lab. It's a lab station at your desk. So I can use this to debug circuit boards a lot easier. If you ever look on YouTube, you'll see people with these giant machines, oscilloscopes, stuff like that. This is essentially a small version of those, and it's quite good. I've used all the previous iterations of the Analog Discovery 1 and 2. But yeah, so that's the pinout. You have all these probes, and so you can take these probes and use them for these lower ones down here. That's for logic analysis, so you can put that in a logic line and see the data being sent. And these top ones are for analog signals. There's so much stuff built in to Analog Discovery. It's typically used in educational settings, but it's a very capable device. Some people have tried to build on top of the Pico or other things like something similar. Head it out. So, yeah.
Hi. Hi, stream.
Did it turn to you?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I'm talking about the capacitor PR on Circuit JSON. I don't know, man. Oh, you can't send a link? I'll check out the Circuit JSON repo. Oh, this one? Oh, this is an interesting one. See, this is where you didn't do it right. It can't be close to. It has to be exactly. That's the whole issue. But you were so close to doing this right. Also, I don't really like this pattern where you create multiple test objects. To me, this is very messy. You could just do the for each without it and then just throw an error. But maybe it's okay. I can help you with this PR really quickly. It's a good attempt. It is wrong in a very important way, though. But it's a good attempt. All right, what's the name of this test? Capacitance.test.ts. It's a good test name. Capacitance parsing would be a slightly better name. This won't even pass the linter, I think. The current with for each, because we have a rule. You're not allowed to use for each, which is a pretty good rule. For each is kind of bad. For each is a pretty bad. It's not like functional. For each is like faux functional programming. It's not functional because its only purpose is to do something imperative, so it's a faux functional function. Faux means fake, like faux fur. Okay, so the problem is you're doing to be close to, but it has to be exactly. So we really need to do .toString to be expected. I'm going to show you a couple techniques for doing this. I'm going to show you an even better way to do this, in my opinion. So we'll get to that. Like shorter, just better. I think your PR worked. So let's go over to source. You have to have a repro. So if I remove the work you did, does it? It still passes. So you got to start with a repro. Oh, and this. what the hell is going on here? Hold on. All right. Well, I'm gonna go get right to it. Let's do the slightly better way because it'll clarify this. Okay. So what you can do is you can actually use two match inline snapshot. I love two match inline snapshot. I think it's amazing. You can use two match inline snapshot to make this better. So we'll do expect test cases dot map, say case, or maybe test case to avoid that JavaScript keyword. Test case. We're going to throw in everything from the test case, but then we're going to put in actual, and we're going to do capacitance dot parse test case dot input. Okay. So we're going to expect that our test cases matched here to match inline snapshot. And the reason this is so great is because it's just infinitely more readable. Just so much more readable. So two match inline snapshot isn't found. If we add the latest version of bun types, it should fix itself. Or not. I thought that would fix it. Hold on one second. Bun type slash bun. Huh, I thought that would fix it. Whoops. Author, Sevi Ibar. Is it types? I don't know what could be causing this issue. I don't know. I'm going to reopen it. So we'll just declare, we'll do the manual declaration. This is just a type issue. Oh, wait. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe I had a little bit of a syntax error that was causing issues. Awkward. All right, good. Okay, anyway. Sorry, I got distracted there. All right, let's run this test. And now look at this. Look how nice this is. And it very, very, very clearly demonstrates the bug. So we can see all the issues now. Now, this test case is actually wrong. I'll comment it out for now, but we don't want to round. We don't want to introduce rounding. So I feel like, I don't know. We could try it. We could try it. Maybe it's not the worst thing. But the expected, yeah. We could try it. Let's run. Okay. Let me just update snapshots. See, now we're seeing the bug. Before, however you were doing it, the stringification or whatever, it likes to hide the fact that JavaScript has floating point issues. Okay, now let's add your fix and see if our test case got better. Yeah, now it's pretty good. This one didn't. This is actual and expected. So this one didn't round. This isn't that big of a deal. That's why I said this case isn't like theoretically it should eventually do it. Let's see. Oh yeah, it does eventually do it if you have enough nines. How many nines though? do you need before it? It's kind of interesting. Okay, so here's the deal. We need to be able to support a 1 picofarad. This sucks, by the way. It's so annoying. But anyway, we need to be able to support 1 picofarad, and I should really just implement or add capacitance PF as another field. We might do that. But these floating point issues cause a problem because a pico is really small. So that's the main thing. We want to make sure that if we have a picofarad, which I believe is nano is 1e -9, so pico would be 1e -12. We want 1e -12 to be well represented, essentially. We don't want to lose any resolution. So 1, oh, you already have it, 1 PF. Yeah, as long as we don't lose resolution on that, I don't really care about these cases. Something we could do is we could say 0.5 PF. Do we want to support? Yeah, let's see. Okay. So anything below 0.1 PF is like, you're kind of talking about like designing chips, you know. It's very, very small. It's so easy to add, to play with this now. Yeah, okay. I'm debating at what point do we want to start rounding. That's really what we're testing. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. Okay, so here lies the rub. If you have 0.1 picofarad, but then you, let's see, this would be a nanofarad plus a picofarad. We might want to just say that this is 1 nanofarad. So what does it actually say? It tries to do a full representation. Yeah. I'm grilling your PR. I don't know if this is grilling. It's kind of hard. It's not the easiest thing. So you did it so that you round to 12 significant digits, which is a picofarad. But it seems like it's not working because, or maybe significant digits doesn't work like that. Contribution tracker is highly inaccurate. Lots of majors considered minors and lots of minors considered majors. It is not getting majors as easy as accurate IMO. Yeah, let's improve the prompt. I'm all about automations. So, and I probably agree. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I mean, it's just something you have to fix with the prompts. The prompt has barely taken up any space. Here's what we should do. Shibo has built prompt benchmarks, that repo prompts benchmarks. Maybe create a new directory or a new project that benchmarks the contribution scores. So we'll benchmark, we'll do the same thing, but we'll do it on contributions, and then we can all like argue about what's major, minor. We can also create epic new levels and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, I don't know about this PR. I think it's okay. At least we're clarifying. We're clarifying it. Let's call this results. Anyway, people should use to-match inline snapshot in a lot of places because it clarifies so much. One way to make this even better is one of the reasons I love to-match inline snapshots is you can actually make this a table, right? So we can map the results to a table. Map to a table string. Come on. Oh, whoops. Map to a well-spaced table object. What is going on right now? I wish I could use console.table, but you can't. You unfortunately can't use the console.table. Okay, well, that's one way to do it. So this is okay, but I don't like the spacing, so we can improve the spacing a little bit. I'm just gonna manually do this. I don't know why AI can't get it, but yeah, pad end 10 or 16 or whatever. This is how you can very, very quickly create a table. The stringification on this one is a little dangerous. It might be okay. I'm worried about the stringification causing problems, but I think toString is already automatically called. So we'll just have to watch carefully. In particular, yeah, we'll just have to watch carefully when we rerun. Yeah, we can add a header too. Okay, we need a little bit more on the input. I think that's right. I think we preserved everything. Yeah, isn't that a nice way to do a snapshot test? It's so readable. It's crazy readable. And then afterwards we can say expect results dot every r dot actual equal r dot expected. So that's our actual validation. TechMan needs a review in PCB viewer. Okay. So, oh shit. I don't know what I did. I hit some hotkeys there. Shoot. Okay. What is it complaining about? All right. So now I'm gonna run the test without updating the snapshots, and we're gonna see what it was like before the test. So before the fix. See if it changes. Yeah, and you can see it does change. So some values aren't working properly, and now they do. Better test. So I'm going to push that up to Ansh's PR, and then we can approve. Good job. Yeah, that really bothered me when I started seeing all these 0.9999s everywhere. What do you guys think is a major PR? I honestly, PRs should be more or less sorted by impact rather than like, oh, impact has a fixed level. Or you should have both. You should have like a ranking and a value, because it's difficult just from the content alone. I don't know. I don't see a PR from Techman in PCB Viewer. Whoever said that. There's no review. There's no Techman PRs. I'll merge my PR though. Update dependencies automatically. Don't mind if I do. I'm going to hit 10K soon. My 10K celebration is going to be hopefully that circuit board, so I can display physically. Oh, maybe I won't. I thought I was close. Still got a ways to go. The problem with GitHub contributions when you've been doing this for a long time is you lose all the contributions here. So for me to increase this number, like tomorrow or today, I have to contribute more than 12. The day after that, I have to contribute 25. The day after that, I have to contribute 34. I have to contribute more than this, or else it goes down. So, Footprinter. Okay, I can check out Footprinter. SOT 457 footprint. Great. Love it. Beautiful. You know what? Hold on. Actually, those are the wrong dimensions for a footprint. Those are the dimensions of the chip. The footprint has to be bigger than the legs. You can't just do the legs. Yeah, you did use the wrong dimensions, I think. That one's for reflow. This one's for wave. Reflow, default. Yo, Anurag, what up? Sup. it won't be manufactured properly. It will literally not work. It will literally not work. It's not, yeah, literally will not work. Make sure to have reflow, default, and wave variants. Never knew that. Yeah. If you see any footprints that use the chip legs, they're slightly bigger. If they are not bigger, then there is nowhere for there's nowhere for I guess, like, how would you describe it? I don't know. Heat to dissipate or heat to enter, because the chip completely covers the pad. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it's particularly for wave soldering, it will not work at all. Waves, I don't know if anybody, you gotta look at wave soldering. This is wave soldering. So that's just fluxing. Okay, see that? That is a wave of lead, of solder, and the PCB is going to go over that, and that lead is going to coat the bottom of the pads, and it's not that precise, but yeah, it solders everything when it does. That's wave soldering. I can smell it. It's got a particular leady smell. So just looking at that video, I can smell it. But yeah, anyway. It's good. Learn things every day. I can't imagine doing this project like 10, 12 years ago when I honestly, there's still so much for me to learn too, but man, it would have been hard to do all this. So yeah, no worries. There's a lot to keep in mind. All right, our circuit JSON eventually rendered. Unfortunately, it didn't benchmark this time. Also, I just realized it doesn't give you like a message. So let's say, yeah, exported to blank. That's good. I'm going to add that. Add export message. It is easy to distract you, isn't it? Yes, especially with PRs. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's copy over this fat JSON object to, it might crash Ranger if I hover over it. Sometimes that happens. Oh, it's not even showing up. Oh, no, it's right there. Yeah, it's 4.94 megabytes, so it's big. Ranger is not crashing, but it is a big file. Okay, so let's copy this file out, and we're going to bring it over to the PCB viewer, and we're going to throw it in an assets directory, a test assets directory, stories, I guess. Actually, we have this directory full of, let's do repro 4 dash, large LED matrix is what we'll call it. And we're going to paste in that JSON file. And now we can start optimizing in theory. Yeah, so let's merge the CLI PR. Ooh, why you no pass? I could have written a test for this now that I think about it. Oh, it's complaining about the snippet itself. I think what I'm going to do is just ignore that entire directory. It's just not important right now. Or I could fix it. Because we have this types file. So I could say, Yeah, actually, nah, it's causing a lot of problems. So you can see TypeScript actually has been disabled on the project, some of the TypeScript features, because of how big that JSON file is. So we're just going to ignore the example directory entirely. Please don't break tests. I'm fond of tests. I will do my best. That large JSON, I think it would have crashed my computer 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Kind of makes me regret the file format in some ways, because it's so freaking big. But I think it's good. I think it's very crunchy. I think it's very compressible. The problem, I was thinking about this the other day. The problem with JSON in general is the numbers are not well compressed. JSON has a bunch of uncompressible random numbers in it because of the floating point stuff. So like, you know, you have like 1.01 blah 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 blah. Most of those numbers don't matter, but they're really not compressible because they're essentially random. So if you just encode those numbers to something like a 2-byte, 4-byte, whatever float, you save a lot of space. So I think CircuitJSON is very, very crunchy. And you could use message pack, you could use a variety of formats, but I think it's extremely crunchy. Is this still going to throw type errors now that I've ignored that directory? Let's see. Nice, no type errors. Cool. All right. The optimization is going to be very, very crazy. It's going to be very intense. Because we're going to be doing so much. We're going to be doing Pixie.js. We're going to be experimenting with lots of stuff in the PCB viewer. We have everything we need to reproduce that, import it, play with it. So what I'm going to do is take a lunch break, and then I'll come back and we'll try to get that thing rendering and see how it goes.